Good evening to everyone joining us. I'm just waiting for our participant count to steady off until I start the meeting here. It looks like it has. So I will go ahead and call us to order. This is the meeting of the CUSD Board of Education for December 15th, 2020. This is a special board meeting tonight. Which means that we essentially added a meeting into our regularly scheduled meetings. And tonight's meeting, we did that just to meet some statutory requirements we have around approving our first interim budget, which needs to be submitted by a certain date. And so with the way that our regularly scheduled board meetings happen to fall this year, it didn't quite fit our schedule. So with that, we will go ahead and I need to ask for board agenda approval first. So if I could get a motion and a second, please.
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Okay, thanks, Jerry. And a second?
Second.
Second from Sylvia. Thank you so much. All right. And so with that, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, motion carries 5-0. Thank you. All right, moving on to item 3, employee organization communication. Just going to check in with our Associate Sup of HR, but I believe we have no employee orgs speaking tonight.
That is correct. There are no speakers.
Thank you, Leslie. All right, so moving us on to item 4, public comment. As this is a special board meeting tonight, we don't have public comment on items not on the agenda, just items on the agenda tonight. And that should be for our next item, our item 5. So if you do plan to make a public comment, you need to fill out the comment card that would be for item 5 tonight, our action item, on the CUSDK8.org website. And when we get to that item, we will call for public comment at that time. Also, staff often is able to drop the link for the public comments into the chat for us as well. So you can check there. But if not, it is definitely on our website. And we will be able to assign a time for any public comments that come in when we get to that point in the agenda where we are taking public comments based on the number we have. It will likely be between 2 and 3 minutes, or one or the other, I should say. And just as a reminder, the board doesn't respond to questions or comments made at the time, but we take everything into advisement, including any public comments we get at our board meetings, at our town halls, at any board office hours, via email through our board@cusdk8.org email address as well. So thank you as always for your participation and for your thoughts on anything related to our district. All right, so moving us right along to item 5, our action item tonight, which is our only item on this special agenda. 5.1, approval of our 2020-2021 first interim financial report and the parent budget overview that goes along with it. So with that, I will turn it over to staff, to Stacy and Jeff.
Thank you. We did have one adjustment that we wanted to highlight on the parent budget overview. And I don't know if Jeff or Dorothy, if you wanted to share what the adjustments were based on feedback from the county.
We're actually going to have Dorothy go ahead and read straight out what we received from the county. And the county person was Susan 80, who we received it from. Dorothy, go ahead.
Yes. Jeff, do you want to open the attachment for the budget parent overview? Thank you. And then if you could go to page 2. Yes. Good evening, board. I just want to give you an update on the slight changes that we made on the LCFF budget overview for parents. What I received from the county office, our advisor, Susan 80, had advised us of the new CDE guideline that they want us to follow in reporting the budget overview for parents for this year. It's quite different than we did last year. So we got some guidance from them, and they told us that we want to make the correction prior so that you're approving the correct version of this. So what's changed here is the the green box where it says total budgeted expenditure in the learning continuity plan, the 7.1 million. This used to be, I believe, about 4.6 million, which was the total LCFF dollars that we receive. And what they wanted to do now is they want us to report the entire LCP plan, whether it's, regardless of what's the source of funding, whether it's coming from our Title I, Title II, or LCFF supplemental, they want us to report the whole thing. So that is the total budgeted expenditure. That is the change. So that's already been in our system. So it's just a matter of transcribing, making sure that we report the full amount of what we budgeted for our LCP. The orange box on the right, the total budgeted expenditure for high needs, the first amount that we put here was the 4.6 million also, which is the total amount of LCFF supplemental that we receive. And they want us to include other funds that we spent towards the high needs students. That includes the Title I, Title II, Title III, and other funds that we used towards that high needs kids that we identified in our LCP plan. So that's why it's changed. It's always been in our budget, in our system, Escape Financial Report. It's just a matter of transcribing the appropriate dollars that they want us to reflect it in our LCAP plan, or I should say LCP plan this year. Also, Jeff, if you could move to page 3. The change here, this is from last year, this from when we closed 1920. The same thing, they want us to report the blue bar. They want us to report the full budgeted amount for the high needs kids that was in our LCAP plan for 1920. And the green bar is what we spent for those high need kids. So this is, you are not only looking at the LCFF supplemental spending, but you're looking at all other federal and LCFF supplemental spending that happened in 1920, what we budgeted and what we spent. And the reason for the slight difference on the budget and the spend is because of COVID. So there's an explanation on the bottom that, we were not able to spend all of those money because of the shutdown, the shelter in place, and the distance learning that we were working on. So that kind of carried over for our 2021 LCP plan.
Thanks, Dorothy.
Thank you.
Okay. So I assume anything else from staff before I ask if there's any clarifying questions?
Not at this time.
Okay, so any clarifying questions from anybody?
One question here, is it just how it is being shown here, or is it a change itself? So I presume that every figure, whatever we are having is all same. It's only how we are representing here. That's what's going to be changed, right?
That is correct, yes.
Yes.
Did they give a reason? I mean, was there a specific reason why they're wanting to see all sources as opposed to just the supplemental here called out? I'm just curious.
So when they ask, in the past, when we write our LCAP, it's all focused on how we're spending our LCFF dollars. In the last couple of years, Allison started building the LCAP plan, including other funding sources. And so when we include other funding sources, they want us to report everything that was in the LCAP, not just for our LCFF dollars. Last year, when we reported for the 1819 and 1920, they pretty much asked us to report our total general fund budget and then how much we spent for the high needs kid. So it's changed this year, and they said, we want you to report the entire budget that you wrote in your LCAP plan and your LCP for this year. And that's what they want to see, so that it's a combination of different source of funding.
I would just add, I think it's in this.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, it's all under the spirit of being as transparent with our fiscals as possible. And so it's not about limiting and isolating down to the buckets, but our dollars go to our kids, and how are we justifying that the money that we receive is being spent on the students with the highest need. So it's just in the spirit of transparency overall. Sorry, Stacey, did you want to add on to that?
Right on. It just represents our money that we're actually spending on our high needs students in its entirety.
All right, anybody else? Any other clarifying questions? Okay, hearing none there. I guess I will check in with Leslie. Do we have any public comments on this item tonight?
We do not.
Okay, thank you. So then any other comments before I go ahead and call for action on this item? Oh, I don't have Phyllis on my screen. Let me bump over and just make sure. Okay, everybody good. Okay, so then I will go ahead and call for a motion and a second. Oh, I see Phyllis. I see you saying it, but it's muted.
I move that we approve.
Okay, thanks, Phyllis. And then a second.
Yeah,
Second.
yeah. Go ahead.
Fine, Satish
Sylvia's
can
gonna
take
second.
it.
Okay, great. All right, so Phyllis moves, Sylvia second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, motion carries 5-0. So thank you to staff for all of the work that went into preparing such a big shift in the first interim from adoption and 45 day. And thank you for submitting that for us and keeping us compliant with the requirements there. So then let's see if I jump back to my agenda. We don't have any other items on tonight's agenda. So unless anybody wants to jump in with anything, that was a short and sweet one. Hearing none, that might be our shortest meeting of the year, ladies and gentlemen. So with that, I will go ahead and adjourn the meeting. I wish you all a good evening, and we will see you again for anybody who would care to join us on Thursday night for our regularly scheduled board meeting, which has its own separate agenda on the website and in board docs if you would like to check that out. Otherwise, everybody continue to have a safe and healthy week, and we will see you on Thursday night.
Thank you.